Welcome in. Seven Rivers Racing here in KQEG TV. I'm Dan Dyker in my post-season race apparel today. Alongside of me is Al Losi, as he has been for the past couple of years, as we recap Oktoberfest Race Weekend. We have this show you're watching this weekend, and then the finale of the 2012 season will come next weekend when we recap, folks, on what happened Saturday and Sunday of Fest.
Awesome weekend, and it's so nice to sit down and before we started shooting the show, we ended up looking at all these exciting film of what was shot out there.
Right.
And it's just going to be so much fun to go over this today.
Especially the second one we show you today. We're going to start things off. Friday night of Fest had the big area sportsman race, which kicks things off. A little mixture of lacrosse drivers, Marshfield, Slinger, Columbus. They were coming from all over the place. And as we got into a heat race for this first race, as you're going to watch a couple of cars getting into a little bit of a melee here. Two of them knocked out, didn't make the big show. As you're going to watch Jonathan Eckelberg, underdogs, going to get through this one. Rob Kerr and the Rockland Rockets sitting right down there. The number 40 car gets spun. Now, this was a heat race. He got knocked out of the actual area sportsman race by Sandy Cook of the Dells later in the night, which he didn't know, obviously sitting right there. Rick Johnson in the 55 coming out of West Salem, and I cannot remember the driver that was driving that 1965 GTO, that number 65 car. He just had problems almost the entire weekend.
Yeah, he did, and these heat races aren't like your normal Saturday night races where they're a little bit of a tune-up for the feature. These races actually counted the top 2 drivers, top 3, 4 drivers in some of the heat races qualified for the feature, so they had to put their foot on the floor a little bit more than normal.
And not like what the ASA when you run the stubby, which we're going to show you here in a minute as well. Those were the drivers that didn't make the top lineup for the ASA race. Once you didn't get into the big show for the area sportsman, well, you didn't get into the big show and you watched it from behind the wall. That's going to lead us into the big show. Now, 2 years ago, as we set the stage, Rick Schermerhorn beat Minnesota's Brent Kane right at the line. Last year, Schermerhorn had beaten Kane again at the line, but was DQ'd because of an illegal carburetor. Kane gets win number 2. This was the grudge match, year number 3, and this had to have been the most exciting race I have called at the La Crosse Speedway in quite some time. We're going to show you several replays here, and instead of us giving the play-by-play, here was my actual call.
Oh, here we go! Hold on, Randy Humfeld, contact! He holds on with the white flag in hand. Schermerhorn and Humfeld. Side by side, can the horn catch the 99 car? Again, Humfeld sideways on the wall. Here comes Schermerhorn. We saw this 2 years ago, contact! And Emerson, oh my goodness! It destroyed the concrete in turn 4.
Dan, how long did it take you to get your voice back after that one?
Tell you what, that led into me losing my voice on Sunday of Oktoberfest this year. That was a wild ride. It started off with some contact as they were entering the white flag lap between Kane and Schermerhorn and Humfeld, and then it continued as you saw down the back straightaway. Randy Humfeld not only hits the wall once, but the second time he almost put it over the wall, and then my eyes were just focused on Schermerhorn and Kane. There was contact once, twice, 3 times, and from where I was sitting in the announcer's booth, when Schermerhorn hit that styrofoam, it didn't look like styrofoam, it looked like flames because of the big light that's right there in the corner. I saw a hood fly up. I'm thinking there's flames all over the place. They're both knocked out, but who wins the race? Randy Humfeld.
And we're sitting in the stands, us and our team and a bunch of other teams. We're all looking at each other wondering, how did Randy hit that wall? How did he climb the wall? How did the car go straight after hitting the wall and able to finish first in that race? Because you got to figure at the minimum the toe is out.
Well, and that just capitalized a huge weekend for Randy Humfeld. He was named our track champion on Thursday. He was the quick time qualifier Friday night for the area sportsman, a 21.4 at 91 mile per hour. Then he goes on to win the feature race. I mean, what a way to and he get himself a faster than a speeding bullet for Oktoberfest. What a way to round things out. Jake Arneson did take second. Billy Dr. Noyes Martin took third. Cody Hubbard took fourth. And Scott Luck rounded out the top 5. Justin Berg won a last chance race. Matt England won that first race of the first crash that you saw. James Lindgren won the heat race. Scott Luck and Bill Martin won the odd and the even. So from that exciting racing, we're going to slow it down and calm it down a little bit. The ASA truck race was not like it was last year when there was carnage all over the front straight of the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway. But this year, there didn't need to be. There was just James Swan.
Yeah, he's won so many championships in a lot of other divisions. This was his first championship, and he went out and won it in style by winning the last race of the season.
Well, right there you saw the 2 red identical trucks. That was Dan Barber battling his very own Jerry Wood, both out of Sun Prairie, for second and third place. Well, meantime, way up front was James Swan, and Swan ends up winning the race, qualified with a 20.2, 96.7 mile per hour. John and Jerry Wood won heat race 1 and 2. And I really got to give some credit to Natalie Decker, young Natalie Decker out of the Decker Racing Crew. First time in a truck this year, and she ended up taking 4th.
Yeah, and she just drives such a good line. You can tell that they get out and they practice and they test, and they had done some work here and some homework on this racetrack. What was really good is that she didn't give up. She had the lead until Swan caught her, and when Swan caught her, she didn't give it up.
Right.
She ran hard against him, and she ran good, straight, smart lines.
Not only did James Swan win the Oktoberfest feature, that win gave him the 2012 ASA Truck Series Championship. Talking about the ASA, we go to the Dick Trickle 99. Your views on this race?
I just think it's really cool. Everybody who grew up around here got to watch Dick Trickle race with the greats from the 1960s. When we say greats, they were great. And it's just so fun to have a race where it's almost like a baseball game. It's like 9 innings.
As you talk about the greats, the winner of this race, his father was one of the greats, Steve Holzhausen, racing back in the day with the likes of Trickle and the others that came through the La Crosse Fairgrounds Speedway in the very beginning of 1971. And the 6th different winner of the Trickle 99, a 3-segment race, did go to Skylar Holzhausen, who had a fantastic race weekend. Matter of fact, this is 2 years in a row now that Skylar's came out and really shown his name and his number 78 car at the La Crosse Speedway. The last chance race went to Steve Carlson. I remember Carlson, I'm up on the stage. He shakes Dick Trickle's hands. He looks at me and he goes, "Last chance." Like, there's no way I just ran a last chance race, but he did and he got in. Casey Johnson also had a fantastic weekend. Eugene Gregorich, matter of fact, won the other last chance race to get in to go towards the back. Segment 1 was won by Dan Fredrickson. Segment 2 by Casey Johnson, who was just outstanding throughout the entire weekend until a wreck took him out on Sunday, which we're going to talk about next weekend. But the Super Late Model, Dick Trickle 99, young Skylar Holzhausen now has his name up there.
He ran such a smart race in all 3 segments. In fact, going into the last segment, I believe he had the lead also, but still never won either of the races, just because he raced smart, found himself in a good position, and it's kind of like golf. It's the lowest score that wins, and that's what he had done.
Even though golf is a little bit slowed down, because when you're running calculations of where you need to finish while you're doing 100 and some odd miles per hour, a little bit jumbled brain there compared to walking down the fairway, but he takes the card because, you know, he's up there in age, and I can still walk the front 9, cart it in the back 9, and meet the beer cart somewhere in the middle. As we head on with the program today, we had a chance to catch up with Greg Scheck, the number 2 sportsman driver at Oktoberfest Race Weekend. He'll be one of our guests in the program. And if you missed it last week, we're going to bring him back again. The PR director for the ASA, Kevin Ramsell, is going to join us in the program as the wind down of the 2012 season continues with night number 2 of Oktoberfest right here on 7 Rivers Racing.